if you like bling, you're going to like this. Do you like bling?
No.
Whoa!
A little bit of back going there.
Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. Now when the Mark 7 Golf R came out in 2014, it cost exactly the same amounts of money as the Audi S3, £29,990. For that you got the same 300 horsepower, the same four-wheel drive system, but you didn't get those coveted 4 rings on the grille. Who'd be crazy enough to pay Audi money for a Volkswagen? Well, actually, I did. I had such a bad experience with that car though, and I swore I'd never pay Audi money for a Volkswagen ever again. Fast forward to this year, and I've recently purchased a Mark 8 Golf GTI Club Sport, but that was because there's no direct rival in the Audi range. However, if you buy a Mark 8 Golf R, you have the Audi S3 as a very, very close rival. Okay, it's a bit down on power, but it's a whole £1,255 cheaper than a Volkswagen. Who'd be crazy enough to pay £1,255 more for a pretty similar Volkswagen? Well, welcome back to the channel, Simon. So my purpose in today's video is to convince Simon that he's made the wrong decision, and Simon can convince me that I've made the wrong decision by backing the Audi S3. So let's see how we get on. You might recognise Simon from the track video we made back in July when he had his Mark 7.5 Golf R that was highly modified. Well, he's upgraded now to this Mark 8, and at this point he thinks he's done the right thing, but let's see how we get on then. So top trumps it is. If you don't know what top trumps is, ask your parents. Okay, let's start off then with the on-the-road price of your Golf R. Both these cars have been quite highly spec'd, and the actual price sits somewhere in the mid-40s, but we'll keep it simple and talk about the on-the-road price. So,
£40,025.
Okay, that's very interesting, because my prestigious Audi is £1,255 cheaper at £38,870. Okay. Well, before I get too smug, let's talk about power and torque. So how much have you got?
320 PS and 420 Newton meters.
Okay, yeah. Let's move on to the... right. I've got 310 horsepower and 400 Newton meters. They could have at least given me 410 Newton meters, like they've kind of done with every other car, matching the power and torque. So yeah, I'm a bit down on you, but I've got 1,255 to spend, which means that's 2 good remaps or about 10 bad ones. So I think that's pretty good. Right, let's talk about weight then. How much does your Golf weigh?
1,554 kilograms.
Yeah, that's pretty lardy, isn't it? Because, you know, I've got this prestigious Audi and it weighs less. It's 1,500 kilograms. There's not a lot in it, but even that 54 kilograms will equalise the power to weight ratio that little bit and make it a little bit closer. Okay then, let's talk performance. And so, what about your 0 to 62 time?
4.7 seconds.
That's really annoying because I'm 4.8. Okay. They've both got 7-speed DSG, they're both running Haldex all-wheel drive, but yours is a little bit more technical at the back of it, especially with the performance. We'll talk about that later. Next up then, let's talk about emissions, because I'm sure it's interesting to somebody out there. So what about your grams per kilometre of CO2?
176.
Okay, that's pretty good. That's better than mine. Mine's 185 grams per kilometre. So somehow Volkswagen have managed to produce more power, to weigh more, and emit less CO2. Maybe they cheated.
Never.
Okay, next up, let's talk about MPG then. So what have you got there? So
36.4.
Yeah, 34.9, definitely cheating. Okay, and then last token of practicality, let's talk about boot size. So they're both MQB platform cars, they're both four-wheel drive. Surely they're going to be the same.
374 litres.
Well, mine's only 325 litres, though I'm sure there's something to do with the height of the boot floor that affects that, doesn't it? Okay, well, we'll call that a draw, shall we? Let's move on now to the walk around of the cars and see if I can convince Simon that paying less for that wonderful Audi interior is a good deal. Okay, now we're going to have a walk around the cars and decide which one looks the best, starting with The S3, look at all that bling. If you like bling, you're going to like this. Do you like bling?
No.
Okay.
It's got a
like
black
this.
roof, which is nice.
Yeah, the contrast with the Tango Red, which is metallic.
Does it look like metallic?
Well, it is. It says it in the spec sheet, so it has to be true.
And look at the fakery.
Yep,
There's a lot of fakery on this car.
It's an inspiration from the Sport Quattro rally car, those nostrils. So what have you got? Have you got an inspiration from the Beatles somewhere?
Look, you've got a proper grille. Air goes through it. It's all functional. Into the brakes.
What, you need that for your extra 10 horsepower?
Yeah, at least 10 horsepower, I would say.
Well, that's what they say, and they're the manufacturers of the cars. So, okay, so you don't like the headlights, don't like the grille. It is a bit blingy. I don't really like the fact we've got this sort of matte aluminium here.
This is horrible.
Yeah, the wheels are a shiny silver. The window surrounds are a shiny silver. I think the mirrors are a shinier silver as well. It's a bit weird, but it is bling. If you like it superficially, it's impressive, isn't it?
If it was black, it would be much nicer.
You're just a gangster, aren't you?
It's just not nice.
Everybody wants to look like a drug dealer.
It looks like a Repmobile.
Okay, changing subjects. The wheels are the elephant in the room, aren't they? They're the standard 18s. They do have the Audi Sport logo on there to make them hard to refurbish, but they're pretty miserable. Come with 225/40 18 tyres. For an extra 250, you can have the 19s, which look a bit better, and they've got wider, bigger tyres, 235/35 19s on them. The only reason I can think this car wasn't spec that way is because of the ride quality, which we'll come to later. While we're here, what do you think of my concave surfacing? Look at that sculpting.
Probably
there.
in an
Somebody's
accident.
really. It doesn't look like it's been in an accident. Don't you like it? It gives it a muscular stance.
It's just, yeah.
I mean, it looks worse with these miserable wheels that are set into the arches.
It does. It looks like somebody's clipped it.
Okay, on to the back then. Let's just have a look at your slab-sided Golf, by the way. Yeah,
Yeah, look at that. Lovely.
Is it a Mark,
Look at that. Lovely.
Is it a Mark 7, the side of it? Because it doesn't look any different
This
to that
is
car.
most definitely a Mark 8.
Okay, well, we know that
Iconic.
from the front and the back, but it doesn't look like it's changed an awful lot. Okay, back to the back. We've got...
More fakery.
Yeah, there is a lot of fakery.
I don't know what this is.
It's a spoiler of some sort. I think there's an option to spec a bigger spoiler on these, so you've got that on your car, which we'll come to in a sec. We've got 4 exhausts, the S3 trademark. Okay, onto yours then. So yeah, we're neither of us are particularly convinced with the looks of the S3, particularly in that spec. Your Golf though, spec-wise, so...
Spec-wise, this car's got performance pack. Here you can see the spoiler. And I have to say, they do look a lot nicer with this
Is
spoiler.
that all you're interested in, looks?
No, but it's a performance of it, of course, as well. You know, all of the drag tests have shown that this car is quite a lot quicker than that car.
Even the non-performance pack cars.
Yeah, these cars are quick, but they got real design. Look at this, the rear exhaust, even they're better. They look better. It hasn't got any fakery going on at the back.
Better than what?
Better than that.
I'm not sure about that.
I bet they're probably, I wonder if they pass the stick test,
Oh,
those
no.
ones.
I don't think they dared do that, mind you, they did it with the S6. No, that's 4 pipes. And that's 4 pipes. Just to be sure, yep, 4 pipes.
God, it isn't fake, one of the few fake things.
I think they learned that mistake from the S6 diesel. Yeah.
But look at this car in terms of its colour. Iconic lapis blue.
Dated. It's been around 7 years.
That is the colour for the Golf AR. You can't get any other Golf in this colour.
It's been
look
through
at
more.
the blue
It's
here,
been
here.
It's been through more shop windows
And of
than the brick.
course, look, Volkswagen now, the R has got its own designation. Didn't used to have that.
I thought that was a folded paperclip that you stuck on there.
No, that's cool. That's really cool. And the side of it doesn't look like it's been in an
It
accident.
doesn't look like it's been styled, you mean?
It's just cool. And then the top of the car, same as the Audi, black roof, that looks cool. It does have silver mirror caps. Unfortunately, it's got those from the Audi. Not good. Much better if they were black.
I have to agree.
And then 19-inch wheels.
You do have the right wheels there, Esther.
Yeah, we won't talk, you know, the tyres may be an older pattern, but still decent.
Older pattern. Bridgestone S005. I think they had those on the first
Won't
wheel.
talk too much about those.
No, I've got Goodyear Eagle F1 Super
They are
Sports.
very good.
One of the best road tyres. Like Michelin
But they are
Pilot Sport
tiny.
S. Yeah,
And then look at the front of the car. There's no fakery going on here. Air is actually going through here.
Yeah, quite a few stones as well, I think, as well.
Yeah, and some leaves.
Yeah.
But it's so much more attractive, the front of the car. Look at those lights.
I know they are. Actually, I've got to say, side by side, they look sleek and they look clumsy. And I never thought I'd say that about an Audi.
So if you were on the motorway and that car was behind you, you'd know straight away that was a Golf R. Yeah. That could be anything, any Audi. The difference between them, I'm actually seeing them together. I'm really pleased now that I bought the Golf R. I wasn't sure initially about the styling, but seeing it alongside the Audi, and I know they're related, but that car is so much more in terms of performance. It's got a much more aggressive stance. That car, I don't think it knows what it wants to be. With lights like that, it looks like the designer is, they're wacky.
Look, they can do that. You can't do that with yours.
Yeah, but look at the shape of them. Just look at the shape of them. Horrendous.
But we've got LED patterns on them, look.
I know. And the other thing, of course, with this car, however you talk about it, it's missing something. The R.
Oh.
If it was an RS3, it might be a bit different.
Well, you've cottoned onto something there. The big problem with the S3 is the RS3. They have to save something for that. I mean, it's just been launched, 55,000 quid. It's a lot of money, so it has to have enough there to draw people in. That's 17 grand more than that. Yeah. The R doesn't have anything sitting above it, so Volkswagen have been able to give it both barrels. Yeah. The S3 suffers because some stuff has had to be kept in reserve for the RS3. Right, let's have a look at the inside now then, where Audis generally beat everybody. So the good news is the actual leather in here is standard, and unlike the S line, it looks like leather.
Yeah, nice seats. Actually, something going on though by the seat belt. Looks like they put a patch in there.
Yeah, that's to stop it squeaking, because unlike your car, it's proper leather in that area. Well, actually, he says. Yeah, I think it is probably proper leather there. Well, you've just got fake leather, so you don't need to have that cloth there. It is a bit strange having that cloth there, but I think it's to stop the seatbelt rubbing on it or something weird like that. We haven't got a flat bottom steering wheel. Ours is perfectly round. Yours is a bit flat.
I've got a flat bottom steering wheel.
Okay, but we've got these things called buttons in here. Vorsprung durch buttons, it seems. Look, this is actually quite nice. It's a proper tactile button for the headlights. So we've got proper climate control buttons. I'll just energise it. Although I still find it funny they don't say actually hot and cold. You have to kind of work that out for yourself, because it's the first time I've seen a climate control panel without red and blue on it. It's weird, but you do that and do that once you know it.
Yeah, that's quite cool.
It is quite cool, yeah.
It's got a rated stereo, this one as well.
It has. It's got B&O. Ignore that, because without that bit on there, the doors look really, really plain.
It's
Audi. This is not.
That's not soft touch plastic.
No. As I said in previous videos, I think Audi have lost their.
Not even that great here.
No, I think Audi have lost their.
There's some more fakery going on here. Yeah. In terms of what's that about?
I know. Why you have a stitch on the middle of a plastic dashboard? It's a bit strange. It looks like something you come out of A&E with after a bit of a drunken night. But the seats are nice, aren't they?
Yeah, it's nice.
It does smell of leather in here.
Yeah, roof linings.
Yeah, it's dark.
Dark, which is good, I think.
Yeah.
Sporty car. It's a wonder it isn't chrome.
But you know what I do find funny is that Audi are meant to be the technological leaders in the Volkswagen group, and they've stuck with buttons. Vorsprung durch buttons. I'm not a big fan of these air vents. I'm not a big fan of that big air vent over there.
That's a bit odd.
Yeah, it
looks a bit odd.
It does.
Looks like maybe it's been to Halfords and they put these bits on.
Yeah.
It looks a little bit like it.
Okay. What bugs me the most though, Simon, is have a look at the carpet, because the old A3, it had carpet underneath the mats that was the kind of quality you'd have in your house. Now...
Is that of a Volkswagen that?
Yeah. Well, actually, it does. Well, it's probably very similar to yours, which shouldn't be the case, really. And I think at 38,000 for this, it's a bit of an issue. At 55 for the RS3, you've got the same plastics, the same carpets. To me, that's...
Cup holders are a bit cheap too.
They are. You do have quite a nice one in yours, and it's illuminated.
Oh dear, that's poor.
Okay. Well, I've got a digital instrument cluster, so have you, so that's not an Audi thing anymore. Rear leg room's about the same as the Golf, so let's not bother with that. Let's have a look at the boot then.
The smaller boot, of course.
Yes, that is interesting. I reckon it's because this is high though. Yeah, there's room under there, so I don't know if you can put that down. It's got a foam insert, so that could be quite annoying because I use my Golf boot in both levels quite often. And it's nice to have the extra height if you've got something, you know.
It's quite raked this way, that's
is.
why it's losing.
That's because it's sleek. Yours is just a Golf. Frumpy, isn't it? Yours is
practical.
Upright. Practical. Okay, I think that's the S3 done. On to the Golf R then. So
the new seats, the blue check, all part of the new R.
Stroke R line, because they look like just like the ones in the R
I
line.
know, but they're cool, aren't they? They are cool. Those seats are cool.
Yeah.
And just look at that steering wheel.
Yeah.
It is quite futuristic in there.
Futuristic. Oh, the haptic buttons everybody hates. Yeah, they're definitely futuristic.
They're not quite
They're probably
as
about
bad
10
as you
years too
think.
futuristic for most buyers.
I've only been using them for a few days, and
Yeah.
I've got to say that dash, in terms of when you're driving, is superb.
I can't argue with that. I think
It's great. It's nowhere near as bad as people make out in terms of
the
using
minimalist.
it.
The minimalist look of the cabin, the uncluttered look is great. When I get in a Porsche with all those buttons down the centre console, I like want to explode because I'm just not used to all that.
Yeah.
So
It's
yeah,
quite decent at top of the
yeah. I don't
door.
think it's any worse than
It's
the
all
Audi.
right. It's there's some hard plastics around, but it's not bad.
And the carpet, I'd say that's the same as Audi.
Yeah. Not brilliant.
Yeah.
That's why they've saved a bit of money, I think.
The door cards are quite nice. You've got the Alcantara there,
Yeah.
which is cool. You've got the carbon effects there, which goes across the dash. I should point out this car has literally just arrived with Simon. I think it's still on like 2 figures of the mileage, so Simon's a bit of a nerd like me and he likes to do his own prep, so he hasn't had the mats put in or had it washed by the dealer, have you?
No.
You took the yellow sticker off the door earlier. There's still a bit of yellow chalk off it from the ports. So let's have a look in the back then. Yeah, no.
It's okay.
Is that scratchier?
It's
Not
not
on the
brilliant.
front.
It's not brilliant.
How would you do that as well? But that's really naughty, isn't it? So this soft touch, yeah. So the people you really want to impress are in the back of your car, like your girlfriend's parents or something, get in there and they think they're in an up.
This is quite nice.
Changing the subject.
Look at that. That's
Yeah.
quite nice, quite sporty. I do like the blue accent. I think if the car's blue, the interior is blue, it really works together.
Yeah.
They've got the R interior so much better now.
Yeah, I think that's why there were so few colours available, because that blue would not work with a red or some of the other colours. Although it probably work with the grey.
And those brakes,
Yeah, you've definitely
they are big.
you've got better brakes. So you've got 357, I think, which is standard.
Dual
Golf R.
pistons.
Yeah, and you've got floating brakes. My brakes are just rubbish, aren't they? I think they must be the 340s that started life on the Mark 7 GTI Performance. So
You've got
definitely
this
win
as
with
well,
the
look,
brakes.
across the front now as well. Again, using that. There's certainly Volkswagen are making something of the R logo.
So you've got a light brow, big deal.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I think the front of the car is really cool.
A light bar, sorry, yeah, a light bar. And Matt Watson, it's not a monobrow, because otherwise it would have to join in the middle if it was a monobrow. Is it? It's not a monobrow.
No, it's cool.
It's a dual brow.
Yeah, it's cool.
Okay, I haven't got a dual brow, but I've got headlights that do this.
Ugly headlamps that do that. Apparently, if you have the RS3, when it appears, it writes RS3 here.
Gosh,
So you
that's
can,
incredible.
perhaps they can, maybe Audi owners can have their initials across there as well.
Don't give them ideas. Okay, I think we've done enough talking. Now it's time to go for a drive and see which one of these two cars is the better recipient of your 40,000 or thereabouts pounds. Okay, we've come down to Jilks' Garage Cafe here in Warwickshire for the driving, but before we go driving, I just thought we should have a good look under the bonnet of these two cars, because I think there might be brownie points to be had, chocolate brownie points actually here at Jilks'. So, go for it then, Simon. Sorry about the noise, we've got Hot Bang Colour here doing some work.
There you go.
Right. Oh, does it hold itself up by itself?
Oh, it's got one of these. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a bit rubbish, isn't it?
Just like my Mark II.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. And Mark III.
Nice soft here, just in case.
Yeah, that's a very understated engine cover, isn't it? So no badges, nothing. Yeah, could be anything. Could be Korean, God forbid. Okay, let me show you mine then. So I can do it with one hand and the camera. And there we have my hydraulic strap. No need to go to Racing Line to buy one. To be fair, they're about £70 from Racing Line. It's not really a big issue, but actually I'm more surprised and impressed that they have the Audi rings on the cover and the red highlights there, which really does brighten up the underbonnet area. It's still squidgy, so if you decide to run someone over, they'll still come off.
I wonder if I could take it off here and put it on there.
Go on then.
I wonder if it fits. Listen. Oh no, not quite, I don't think. I don't think it goes. Oh, it's worth a go.
Yeah, it's worth a go.
Nearly.
Yeah, it looks better anyway. Makes your car look a lot more expensive, even though
Tacky.
it is more expensive.
Tacky.
Okay guys, we'll leave Simon to work out how to refit those, and then we'll go for a drive on these wonderful Warwickshire roads. If you do come down here to Gilks's, have a drive down this road towards Banbury. It's one of my favourites. Okay, here we are driving the Audi S3 then, and first impressions is that it's a pleasant cabin if you're not looking too closely at the plastics or the carpets. From a driver's perspective, it's a car I'd love to do loads of miles in. We've got the virtual cockpit with the navigation on it, got easy to use climate control, it doesn't take any learning, we've got heated seats, we've got adaptive cruise, which I think is an extra. It's
comfortable, it's nice.
Yeah, it's very comfy, seats are great, we've got 4-way lumbar on this, which is an extra cost option. So yeah, but is it a good hot hatch? Is it better than the R? Well, it is a bit unyielding in its ride, shall we say. This is not what I expected from such a tame looking car, really. And we haven't got adaptive dampers, we can't make it any harder and softer. It is what it is, and bear in mind we're on 18s with 40 section tyres, so if you go to 19s you might need to see a chiropractor on a regular basis, which is unexpected for Audi because they've actually got the balance quite well tied down in recent cars, and the S-line's dead comfy. But this is like the Audis of old, which are just a bit too firm for UK roads.
It sounds lovely.
Yeah, it's got the fakeness in here though. We're in dynamic mode, so we've got RS3 plumbed in, which is great. And do you know what? It's quite a tidy handler. We've got these Goodyear Eagle F1 Super Sports, which are a lovely spec tyre.
Mega tyre, even with standing water.
Like that.
It's got loads of grip.
Well, actually, that reminds me. We're not going to launch, but we're going to do a quick start because we've got to do this. And the hazards are come on, so the brake's good.
Oh, tons of traction.
But can it handle a real bucker of a B road? Let's try this one because this is actually a bit too easy. So, will the rear end actually do anything? Because you've got Torque Veteran. I'm not sure we've got that on this car. Save that for the RS3.
To be fair, it doesn't seem to be pushing on.
Well, we'll find out now, so just don't say anything too soon. Oh, we don't want that Renault on our front end.
It's
a little bit of a scrabble.
Yeah, it's not too understeery.
I'd say that was kind of safe.
Yeah, it's not.
It got a bit quiet.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's got a nice balance. It's got a nice balance.
Okay.
I'd say it's fairly neutral.
Yeah, there's definitely no rear axle engagement there though. It just, yeah, I didn't feel like
pushing on too much though.
No, but I didn't feel the back was doing much either. So, I mean, it's quick.
It's probably quick.
I'd say, as you probably suspect, the Golf R is quicker because the Golf R really f***s you up. That didn't f*** me up. Anyway, on that note, let's go and get up in your Golf R.
Yeah.
Okay, here we are in the Golf R, and like any modern car, it's a good idea to select your mode. Unlike the Audi, which we just stack in dynamic mode because it doesn't have adaptive dampers, we've got a bit more to choose here. So we've got the performance pack, which means we've got the usual comfort, sport, race, individual, but we've also got, if you press race, you get drift and special mode, which is the Nürburgring mode. Now on this kind of road today, I think, I'd love to try drift mode, but I don't really want to write your car off without 100 miles on it. So we'll stick to Nürburgring, which from past experience on the Club Sport gives you the perfect balance of ride and handling for a British B road. I think you get manual shifting then as well. So in the S3, if you're in dynamic mode and you use the paddles to select manually, it doesn't really go back to automatic at all, as far as I could find out. In this car, if you select any of the sportier modes, you get pretty much manual shifting in that it doesn't go back to auto. But if you've got performance pack and you've got ring mode, it just stays in that gear. It'll hit the rev limiter, it won't stall, it will change down then. But because we've only got 96 miles on the clock, I don't think Simon would want me to bounce off the rev limiter, so you'll just have to believe me. But what we can do is do the speed limit on this wet road. So like the Audi, we've got 7-speed DSG, we've got Haldex, but we've got torque vectoring, so it's a bit cleverer. We've got nice bigger paddles.
Better damping.
Yeah, well we've got a lot better damping. We've got more expensive suspension here. Quite plush. That was. Yeah, it's a little bit less jarring over those speed humps. What about this? Is this a level crossing? No, that's coming up in a sec.
It's got a nice balance between the springs and the dampers,
yeah.
I think.
And it makes a decent sound, it's not overly faked. I mean, we're on relatively new Bridgestones, so one has to be careful. But inherently this car's pretty grippy. It makes a nice noise as well. There's not an awful lot of exhaust character to the S3, it's very subdued. This has already just popped, didn't it? Okay, this is the real test then. So it's a level crossing on a bend. So let's just grit our teeth, hope nothing's coming. It is.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
It wasn't that good. There's a little bit less deflection.
It slipped over the metal rails a little bit.
It's got a little bit more tyre roar, I think.
That might be the Bridgestones.
And they're both sunroof cars, so we can't blame that. Seats are nicer though, I'd say. I mean, leather's expensive and looks good, but for grip in a car like this, you need to really have this or Alcantara. So I think the seats are definitely better.
I actually quite like the Audi's sound inside.
Yeah, but it's just total fake RS3.
I know, it's total fake.
Go and buy an RS3.
It does it well. I shouldn't say that, but I really like that.
Okay, let's test your brakes then. 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah. I mean, the other ones are good, but on track these will hold out much better, I'm sure. Well, I know, because my Club Sport S ones were mega. The steering feels a lot more...
Feels really direct.
Precise, yeah, and direct. Okay, let's see what it does on this one. Let's hope nothing's coming. Whoa!
A little bit of back going there. It handles. Oh, it's got, yeah, there's a bit of back move, which is really cool.
Cool, okay.
Yeah, there's a lot more going on.
There's definitely a lot more going on with the rear end on this car. In fact, so much so I want to go and do that again, so let's turn around. Because yeah, I didn't feel the Audi was going to do anything
this has got a lot more fun.
The Audi was tidy. Yeah, I don't know why Evo gives this car such a hard time.
Yeah, this car has got a lovely balance to it.
Look, stop reading the brochure. Why did Evo give this car such a hard time then?
I don't understand. This is a really well balanced car. You know, I had a 7.5R before, and this, unmodified, is superbly balanced. And they said that the 7.5R was a great car.
The 7.5R drove like the S3. It was
and pushed on at the front a lot. Whereas this has got a mobile back end. It's everything Evo should love. Yeah. So why don't they like this car?
Maybe it's a bit artificial. There, I said it.
I don't know. I don't think so. I think this is the genuine, it's a real thing. It's got a lovely balance. And it's just on a pretty average tyre.
That felt magical.
Off camber, and it's still gripping like mad.
Yeah, that's impressive. But is it enough?
It's a better car than my 7.5.
No, I don't argue with that. Never really liked 7.5 anyway. Is it better than the S3 though? Well, let's go and talk it over coffee and see what we think, eh? Okay, as you can tell, it's now dark. We're back at Jilks's Garage Cafe having a cup of tea because we need some refreshments, because it's been a very long day and we've been very keen to get a proper verdict on these two cars, because it's important to know how they differ and which one's best depending on how you drive. Now the S3 is a good all-rounder. It's not particularly brilliant at anything. I'd say it's an improvement over the old one. It does lift off oversteer, which is unusual for an Audi. I did that in the one I had last year, and this one does it as well. It's good. It's just not as good as the Golf R if you're into your driving. I think if you like the badge and you like the leather and you like the silver bits, someone must, right? Then it's a good car.
Yeah, it is a great car, but it is very firm for a UKB road.
Yeah.
And I think that counts against it in a way. When you compare it against the Golf R is a lot more supple.
Yeah, but you've got adaptive dampers, haven't you? We haven't got adaptive dampers in this car, and that's kind of where it sort of falls apart. It's on 18-inch wheels, so it should be comfortable. You don't need to really have adaptive dampers in every car on 18s, but you've got a real hardcore ride in a car that's not particularly hardcore, and I think that's really the problem with the S3. Material quality is a disappointment as well. I think it's no better really than the R, but if you are a petrol head, then the way the R drives, the way it engages the rear axle to get you around corners to quell understeer, I think that's quite incredible, and the premium of 1,255 quid is worth it just for the engineering of the R. What do you think, Simon?
It feels like the Mark 8R feels like a step on from the 7.5R, whereas the S3 feels like more of the same sort of hatchback. This is a really good hatchback. The rear comes into play.
Yeah, and when you've been used to driving Volkswagen hot hatches for 30 years each like we have, to have a rear axle that does anything is quite addictive. So there we go. If you're into your driving, get the Golf R. If you just want a fast all-weather car, the Audi S3 is a very, very good one. Anyway guys, thanks for watching this Volkswizard video. If you've enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up, please do comment, please do share, please do subscribe, and please check out Simon's Instagram, which is @TalkCars. I'll put a link in the description below.